Hey everyone, Spencer the Knowledge Pharaoh from Sky Sports' Ringside Toe-to-Toe Boxing Podcast and hashtag Toe-to-Toe. Listen up, give Sporting Icon a follow.
Now, as we know, there's been a lot of talk about who the fighter of the year is, with contenders such as Usyk becoming undisputed and, of course, getting the scalp of Tony Bellew. Tyson Fury come back and defeating Deontay Wilder. He didn't get the decision, but most people felt that he did win that fight, plus others. And Anthony Joshua unifying against Joseph Parker and then taking on a very dangerous mandatory in Oleksandr Usyk. Also, you've got the likes of Dillian Whyte, undefeated former world champion Lucas Brown, then former world champion Joseph Parker, and then lastly put an end to the saga with Derek Chisora with a vicious knockout. So there's been a lot of talk about who is the fighter of the year, all that kind of thing. But who's the exposed fighter of the year? Now, as the year's been going on, obviously, I read all your comments. I may not respond to all of them. There's so many. I don't often get the chance to respond to everyone, but I do read them. And just going by some of your comments throughout the year within certain fighters and, of course, other channels as well, going in on certain fighters due to certain fights that's happening and all that kind of thing. So I'm going to do this video, and it's not necessarily reflecting my views. Some of it is, of course, but it's a case of it's the broad perspective of what a lot of people have been saying. So I'm interested as to who you guys believe is the exposed fighter of the year. Now, that's not to say any of these guys can't come back in 2019 and rectify a not so great 2018, but either way, we're going to have to find out as time goes on. So who's the exposed fighter of the year? I'm going to give you guys a couple of the names that I remember that you guys have been talking about and other channels that I've been talking about as well as. And of course, inevitably, I'm going to be missing some fighters here. So fill in some of the blanks in the comment section as well as. So let's start off with a lot of people saying that Chris Eubank Jr. was exposed this year. He's had 2 fights, George Groves and JJ McDonough. Last time out against JJ McDonough, he did defeat him quite handedly. But before then, he lost by quite a wide margin against George Groves. Now, I know a lot of people were picking Chris Eubank Jr. to beat George Groves. I wasn't one of them. I felt George Groves would do it, but I felt it would be a very, very close fight. As it turned out, it was quite a wide margin. George Groves dominated Chris Eubank Jr. and Chris Eubank Jr. had no answer to him whatsoever. But that's not to say he can't bounce back in 2019 and prove that he is one of the best. He is what he says he is. So we'll have to wait and see for 2019. But a lot of people have been using the word exposed around Chris Eubank Jr. Is it justifiable? Is it not? Anyway, Chris Eubank Jr. Another one will be GGG Gennady Golovkin. Again, 2 fights this year. One of them was against Vanes Martirosyan. It was supposed to have been Canelo. Canelo failed PED test, so he needed a quick, fast replacement with Vanes Martirosyan. A lot of people saying that he should have chose Charlo, he should have chose Derevchenko, all that kind of thing. But due to the timescale that he needed to get an opponent in and the money that they wanted, he couldn't quite get those ones. And for the fact he wasn't training to fight any of these guys. So Vanes Martirosyan was a keep busy fight. I think that's fair to say, even though it did fantastic numbers for viewers. It really did. It was a record high of the year, I believe. Anyway, so with Triple G, he got that win, and then he lost his unified world titles to Saul Canelo Alvarez. Of course, the IBF title wasn't on the line. He got stripped of that for not fighting Derevchenko for reasons I've just given you. Now, against Canelo, again, a lot of people feel that he won that fight and he got screwed by the judges, much like he did in the first one. And listen, everybody's entitled to their opinion. For me, I felt Triple G did win that fight, to be fair, but a lot of people are using the word exposed when it comes to Triple G. Is it father time catching up with him? All that kind of thing. Either way, we don't know. But officially on the record, he does have a loss on his record, and in a fight that suits Triple G historically. So fighters who come forward, Triple G is very good at. He's very good at pushing fighters back, putting them onto the back foot, like he was with Canelo in the first one. But in this one, Canelo stood his ground and went toe-to-toe with Triple G, and Triple G, according to the judges and a great deal many other people, felt that he got exposed in that fight and lost his titles. So Triple G is another one. So another one, David Haye. Now, he's never going to avenge in 2019. He's now retired. But a lot of people feel that he was exposed even before his one and only fight against Tony Bellew this year, where he went into this one saying that he's injury-free and all this kind of thing, and just got done. Here's what happened in round number 3. He gets dropped twice and ultimately stopped in round number 5. So is this a case of, again, same thing with Triple G, is it a case of father time? But a lot of people are saying David Haye exposed. But there again, a lot of people are saying that they kind of knew he was shot before he got in the ring. People saying that he just wasn't over the injuries. People say that it is his age. People saying that he was always a hype job. People say that his body just can't handle it. So ultimately, exposed is a word that has gone hand in hand with David Haye in 2018. As I said, he's not going to have a 2019 to rectify that. It just isn't going to happen. Even if he did make a comeback, he's not going to fight Tony Bellew, because Tony Bellew has now also retired since Oleksandr Usyk. And no, I'm not going to put Tony Bellew in the line of exposed, because he's supposed to have lost to Oleksandr Usyk. But David Haye is another one where a lot of people and a lot of channels have used the word David Haye and exposed in the same sentence. So another one, Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder, again, 2 fights this year, one with Luis Ortiz and the second one to Tyson Fury. Now, again, the word exposed has come from my mouth as well, and a lot of you guys and other channels, where people say that he lost that fight with Tyson Fury. And he did lose that fight. There's no way looking around it. 2 knockdowns do not win you a fight. It's as simple as that. Anybody who knows how to score a boxing fight, you know that. So Deontay Wilder, he took on a guy who was out for 2.5 years, come back, fought 2 cab drivers, and then couldn't do anything against Tyson Fury other than drop him. The first one was a hit on the back of the head and an off-balance Tyson Fury when he got dropped. Round number 12 was a legitimate knockdown, that's for sure, but Tyson Fury got up. So again, some people say about Deontay Wilder's power being overrated. Potentially, maybe, who knows? But against B-level fighters, Wilder looks phenomenally dangerous. When you step him up against a Tyson Fury and a Luis Ortiz, did he get exposed? Well, maybe, because as I said, Tyson Fury was not a fully fit, fully functioning Tyson Fury. It just wasn't. In a rematch, it'll be an improved Tyson Fury. So if Deontay Wilder wants to avenge that loss, and it is a loss, then he does need to give in to Tyson Fury and concede that Tyson Fury is the A-side in this one and come to the UK and avenge that loss, or a gifted draw. Depends on how you look at it. So do you get exposed in that fight by a non-functioning or not fully fit Tyson Fury? Yeah, maybe. Also with Luis Ortiz as well, a lot of people have said that maybe the referee should have stopped the fight in round number 7. He got help at the beginning of round number 8. The fact that he got helped to the corner at the end of round number 7. And yes, for the second time in Deontay Wilder's career, he got a 10-8 round against him. First time round was a few years ago against Harold Sconiers, where he got dropped. So 10-8 round in his negative. And again, against Luis Ortiz in round number 7, he got a 10-8 round by all the judges' scorecards. He got helped back to the corner. He had his minute's rest. He stood up, and the referee helped him out by giving him those few more seconds with the medical team, which Paulie Malignaggi on Showtime commentary was saying, what the hell's going on? So he did get help in that fight. So is Deontay Wilder to 2018 expose him as not as good as maybe what people were proclaiming that he is? Another one, Jermell Charlo, 2 fights this year, Austin Trout in a fight which was a cherry pick. I mean, this is what Jermell Charlo does. He does cherry pick a lot. And people were waiting for the cherry to bite him back, much like with Deontay Wilder and others. And against Austin Trout, he never really got bit back, but it's a fight that should never really happened. I mean, Austin Trout already had 4 losses, and one of them was to his brother. So again, this fight should never have really happened, but it did. And he went the distance with him. And then last time out against Tony Harrison, again, not only did he go the distance to a guy who did lose to Jarrett Hurdenat before, but Jermell Charlo lost his WBC 154-pound or super welterweight title. And yes, he legitimately lost that title. So again, a lot of people are using the word exposed in their titles of their videos and in the comment section. So hopefully 2019 we see a more humble and more focused Jermell Charlo. I do feel that the Charlos spent too much time hyping themselves, and with the fan base around them, hyping them before they did something of any great note. And a fight, a cherry pick against Tony Harrison, and it was a cherry pick, he got done in that fight. And it's as simple as that. Maybe a rematch will happen and he will rectify that, all going well in 2019. And hopefully Jermell Charlo will prove to be the real deal. And I do genuinely mean that I hope that he does. Because for me, Jermell Charlo and Jermall have all the tools to become superstars in boxing. But this is one blip on the record. People shouldn't put too much emphasis on the O, but people do. But ultimately, he should be able to come back and defeat Tony Harrison by dedicating himself and not hanging around the likes of Adrian Broner and all these kind of ones. So Jermell Charlo is a word that a lot of people will use in the same sentence as exposed. You drop your thoughts below about all those guys there and anybody else that you could possibly think of as a more worthy contender for the word exposed in 2018. As I said, maybe some of these fighters can come back 2019 and have a blinding year. They may well do. Ultimately, we'll have to wait and find out. But anyway, for now, drop your thoughts below, click the thumbs up, and of course subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.